Welcome to Net Insight's SVG Tech Portal. I'm Jason Dachman. We're here with Per Lindgren, CTO at Net Insight. Per, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, you guys have played a very big role over the last few months as we've seen production workflows just dramatically change. Some of the directions that we were seeing before the pandemic hit have accelerated in terms of moving towards the cloud, towards IP, towards remote production. So let's just start out with what have you seen from the industry, from your customers, and how workflows are changing in reaction to the pandemic these days?
No, thanks. No, definitely, especially for us working in the sports community and as a sports fan, the pandemic has affected us all, both personally and in the business. So it's great to see things opening up. Finally, see some great live sports on television again. As you said, it's definitely affected our workflows and ways of working. I'm sure we'll bring a lot of the experience we had the last couple of months with us into the post-COVID workflows. In order to make them more agile and dynamic, because I think the pandemic has accelerated a lot of the trends we have talked about actually the last couple of years, especially when it comes to remote and distributed workflows. But also in order to be more agile and more dynamic in changing and adapting to new workflows and to new environments. We have also seen a big move into internet contribution and cloud-based workflows.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I know you guys are embracing this shift and want to help people out. So let's talk about some of the things that you guys are offering from your portfolio. Obviously, everyone really knows Net Insight. A big part of the Net Insight offering is Nimbra. Let's start with Nimbra Edge. It's especially in this day and age as people are moving towards these workflows, tools like Nimbra Edge, I would think, are really going to cater to the needs of sports and content creators.
Yes, absolutely. Nimbra Edge is our cloud-based platform. We really used a lot of technologies that we developed for the SIA Live OTT hyperscale platform for live OTT low latency distribution, but targeting the Nimbra Edge more for the business to business and contribution and primary distribution workflows. And the interesting thing is we are also now adding the functionality to ingest directly into the cloud in all the Nimbra platforms out there. So that means even for large productions where you have dedicated fiber or dedicated IP networks, the same equipment can also ingest directly into Nimbra Edge and into the cloud-based workflows. So that's been a big shift. It's something we talked about for a long time, and but it's definitely been accelerated here the last couple of months.
Right. And I think one thing that people are finding as they move towards these cloud-based workflows is that they're not easy, right? Networks are extremely complex. It's no longer an in goes into an out necessarily. And that's one thing that you guys offer is you try to make it as seamless and simple as possible for users as they shift to the cloud, right?
That's correct. We really try to tie it together to make it an end-to-end workflow. So people shouldn't really need to think about the different links, the underlying architecture, hop by hop, but it's really more, we call more content-centric workflows and orchestration and automation to really abstract away the underlying complexities. We're also working more with solution partners to make it end-to-end solutions instead of just having best of breeds parts in order to, as you said, really simplify the workflows for this.
Right, yeah. So give us a better idea of the overall Nimbra portfolio in the ecosystem. We talked a little bit about Edge, but obviously there's a lot of members to this Nimbra family. Let's go over a few of them just so people know, what the product entails.
No, I think it's Nimbra 600 has been our workhorse for many years with JPEG 2000 compression or uncompressed video typically placed in all major venues and stadiums around the world for a lot of the big leagues and also for major events, contributing that from the arenas or to be used for remote production back to home studios. That was further developed what we call the Nimbra 1000 platform with 100 gig link capabilities and just more density when it comes to IP workflows and more ports and more compression capabilities, also adding both MPEG and JPEG access for the platform. In parallel with that, we also have what we call the Nimbra 400. Previously, the Nimbra VA platform was specifically targeted for more tier 2 use types of applications for contribution over internet, but also where we added low latency and frame alignment, frame synchronization to also be able to do remote production over internet. And that's also what we extended into the 600 platforms. And also now we also acquired the Aperi platforms. We also bring the same technology into that platform. So it's possible from the 600 series, from the Aperi series, from the Nimbra 400 series to aggregate both over dedicated IP infrastructure as well as over internet directly into the cloud. For either at-home productions in your studios or at-home productions in the cloud.
Right. And let's talk about that a little bit more in terms of what the world's going to look like moving forward. Again, I know none of us have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen, but we can predict what the current landscape is going to, how it's going to have an impact on the future of production workflows. So how is this move towards remote production, towards IP, towards the cloud going to accelerate as we move forward? How is it going to change the way that people create and distribute content, especially when it comes to sports?
I think the industry has done, especially Net Insight's done remote production for quite a number of years. I think we did a lot of the remote production already back in the London Olympics. But I think it was more progressive players, and for certain reasons when you had to do remote production for cost efficiency or you were able to do more content that you did it. I think now everyone has been forced to work in more distributed workflows and even sitting at home doing it over internet. And I think people are today more relaxed and comfortable with using these type of new workflows. So I think that's been the big shift. The technology has been there for quite some time, but there's been, for different reasons, resistance to use it on a broad perspective. And I think the pandemic has really changed that. Everyone today sees it as a natural part of the workflow. I'm sure that will continue after post-COVID times. So, because it adds a lot of flexibility and agility and efficiency to the production workflows.
Yeah, I think it was by a means of necessity that you used remote production before, whether it was cost efficiency or situational. Now, people really do have to use it, and they've become much more comfortable with it, I think.
Exactly. No, I think so. That's and together I would say also with the internet contribution, because we have had to use the internet to reach certain events and certain places, especially when people are actually sitting literally at home doing the productions. So and that could be both the crew and actually the hosts, etc., or commentators sitting at home, and we had to integrate that into the full workflow of the production. So. And it just showed that it's possible to do, and it's more agile and easy to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Per, thanks so much for joining us today. A lot of exciting things going on with Net Insight. The Aperi acquisition obviously is very exciting as well. Make sure to check out all that Net Insight's tech portal has to offer. And Per, hopefully we can talk again soon, and we always appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much. Great to talk to you. Thanks, Jason.